Professor? So I said, 2 can play at that game. I told him, a small-time little weasel like you ought to be begging me for attention. Oh, it gets me so mad, so worked up. Why aren't there any men around here who understand what a catch I am? Come to think of it, you've always been nice to me. I mean, you listen to all my problems. I feel like I can really trust you. I don't have that kind of thing with a lot of people. Right, I got it. I knew you'd say we were just friends. I'd like to maybe talk about this once the war is over. Once we're all safe. All right, enough of this moping around. What we need is a change of mood. We've still got a lot to do together. When I think about that, what are 1 or 2 men? What's wrong is, it's not just 1 or 2 men, it's more like 100 men, maybe even 200, more! I'm completely... Oh, I can't get out of this mood! Actually, I've got an idea. Exercise will help. I'm going to the training ground. Come on and give me a hand. Gonna work my anger out on 100 training dummies. Maybe 200 if we've got 'em. Oh, right.
At last, I return to my domain. My lonely paradise. Huh? You didn't hear that just now. Right!
Hey!
No. I'm pretty headstrong, but, I mean, he's dragged the knights into this. You ought to be careful, Professor. Don't worry about me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Could you do me a favor?
Right.
Hi there. Thanks so much. You're a sweetheart. I'm pretty... Maybe.
Hey!
Do you have time for a request?
Professor! Oh my. It's these days so many old friends. It's incredible to see. I have a feeling your name...
You've done me a great service.
Professor! Quite given up on every... Anyway, now that we're reunited in the land of the living. That's right.
Professor? Greetings, Professor. You know, it's such a I almost died as well in the battle 5 years ago, even if the Death Knight shows up.
There's unrest. I hope things go back. Hey, how about a favor?
Hello.
Got a favor to ask. Professor?
I can't believe how long it's been since I left home. Since I was dragged out of the house, I mean. 5 whole years. It's weird to think about. No. But if you'd asked me that 5 years ago, I'd have said the opposite. I have friends here, and I have you. The monastery's become a second home to me. Back then, I never would have dreamed a day like this would come. It's all thanks to you. You've given me a second chance at life. If not for you, I never would have gotten used to leaving my room, let alone the monastery. Maybe the battlefields just dulled my senses. I'm much better with strangers and new places now, though. I don't panic nearly as much as before. A new place? All on my own? That sounds like a tough assignment. Where did this come from all of a sudden? Hey, hold on. You're teasing me, aren't you? Please don't joke around like that anymore. It's torture for me. You're still not taking me seriously. I mean it. Promise me you won't do that again. Friends respect each other's feelings, don't they? Good. I'll hold you to that. You're absolutely not allowed to send me out anywhere on my own. Got it? You would need to come with me. If you're with me, I can go anywhere in the world. No, that defeats the purpose. Why can't you get what I'm saying? I thought we were finally getting close. I guess I'm not good enough for that, though, am I? I'll let you have this one, but you better be ready for next time.
Professor, I have a... Why not go beyond the night? Looking back, it's...
Let's see.
I'm more of a mercenary than I never was too attached, but I might change my mind. In Lady Rhea's absence, know that wherever you might lead us, I'll good. Because... Hey.
During the Millennium Festival, but now that the kingdom is also that.
I see. By any means necessary, then. Before the war's end. I'm covered, but just to be safe, I need you to check on my mother and Kupala. Still following me, huh? We have got to work on those manners, pal. Unless you really meant that bit about protecting me. That's where my mom was born and raised. I pay a spy money I don't have to keep an eye on the place. Whether I'm above the dirt or below it. It's up to me to make sure my stepmother can't get to my mom. No doubt about it. She's been honing her crazy plans lately. All because I've taken to fighting at your side. She thinks I'm making a name for myself before my glorious return to House Albrecht. Being delusional is her sport. There's little advantage to her going after my mom, but she's unpredictable. Gotta stay vigilant. Guess I haven't talked about her. After her and my pop split, she returned home. Where she's from, it's kind of an odd place. You know the folks who live in the mountains of the Alliance? Guessing that's a no. Few do. Imagine a place with no influence to speak of. Nestled in the mountains on the Almyran border. That's Kupala. Well, they're not mountain goats. And it's not like they never interact with the Lords of the Alliance. They're incredibly isolated, though. Even their trade relations are remarkably limited. Doubt that'll change. The land lacks resources worth fighting over. Probably for the best, honestly. Oh, but back to my mom. She was different. An exception to the rule in Kupala. She left the mountains, was rescued by my dad, and fell madly in love with him. That goddess of yours is one cruel minx. So if that's the destiny she gave him, wouldn't surprise me a bit. My birth helped matters, but only a little. House Albrecht just wasn't where she belonged. My dad was in a tough spot. He was obligated to marry a fellow noble and produce a fitting heir. Nobody'd want to live out their days where they're utterly unwelcome. So my mom returned to Kupala. Then it happened. I was enrolled in the Officers' Academy at Garreg Mach, and everything changed. During my enrollment examination, they discovered that I bear the major crest of Chevalier. My dad decided to resist his family's wishes and make me the head of the house after I graduated. Thing is, the truth of my special crest was kept a secret by decree of the church. He couldn't tell anyone about my prized bloodline, so I was forced to step down as the legitimate heir. It was for the best. My crest was inherited from mountain folk who prefer to keep to themselves. Imagine what would happen to Kupala if it got out. We both know it would destroy their way of life. Too true. I'm guessing the church thought my crest would cause trouble in Fodlan. But don't get me wrong. No matter what life's thrown at me, I'm no victim. Like I've said, I prefer it this way. I've got to be free. Even if things were different, I'd still choose this life. But I can't let my mother and her people pay the price for keeping peace in Fodlan. Wouldn't be right. All I can do is make a name for myself in battle and secure enough power to protect them. Failure isn't an option.
Okay.
In the Alliance, in particular, rumor has it that the
Professor?
Edelgard is controlling the Empire. Empire and religion are at but corrupt noble with you, Professor.
I'm the heir of House Gautier. I can just imagine my father. I don't know how staying. Sorry, Professor, and I'm hoping I haven't made it.
Another failure! How? Was there an error in my calculations? I had precious few materials as things stood. Where will I get more once these run out? Oh, don't act so rueful. You carried out my directions faithfully. Neither the credit nor the blame ought to be yours. My grand achievement is further away than I had hoped. House Nouvelle's future seems so dim. You're correct, of course. I mustn't be discouraged. It is hard to maintain one's patience after 5 years. But in the greater context of the history of House Nouvelle, 5 years is barely worth counting. I have been in a low place indeed to require so much reassurance. And for your reassurance, I am truly grateful. You have spurred me to continue my research. You've been useful to me in many ways, in fact. Research assistant, confidant, test subject. All of this is preparing you well for your greater role to come. My personal attendant! There are few as naturally servile as you in all of Fodlan. When House Nouvelle is at long last restored, we simply must find the proper position for you. Granted, this will be difficult, perhaps even impossible to accept, given your current status. But I rarely let the impossible stop me. I shall see it all done. The restoration of my house, installing you as my servant, and more. Are you ready for the next steps? Oh, come now. My sulk ended minutes ago. Do keep up. But on the rare occasion that I find myself at a loss, I grant you permission to lift my spirits. I don't know that I care for the hint of resignation in your tone, but no matter. I expect you to do your all for the sake of my house nonetheless.
Professor? This may seem a bit sudden, but I want to thank you, Professor. That is, for letting me live my life the way I want. I've noticed you've been giving me fewer of those soul-revealing gazes lately. I appreciate you making an effort to not trouble yourself over who I spend my time with. If you say so. But I notice you doing it all the same. It's kind of sweet in its own way. Professor, may I tell you a story about when I was younger? I was an orphan, living in the back alleys of Enbar, until one day I was overheard singing. That was when my new life began. I was suddenly a songstress in the Middle Franc Opera Company. Performers, nobility. I met so many people. But none of them ever really knew me. I was just some young, pretty girl who could sing. A spectacle to be admired. Even though everyone praised my looks and my voice, and they showered me with gifts, I knew one day I'd be old. My looks would fade, my voice would change. I wouldn't sound the same. And I started to wonder, when I did get old, what would I have left? I'd be old, alone, and back on the streets of the capital, right where I'd started. That's sweet of you, even if you are just flirting. I never had much to begin with in life, and I worry that one day I'll be that way again. That's why I keep searching for someone who will love me. Someone unaware of the songstress, who can love a girl that used to be scared and alone on the streets of the capital. I wonder if such a strange person can even exist.
Hey, Professor! I figured I couldn't go back to the Empire after Garrett. Then, I just happened to run into our old...
Members of the Knights tell me that they say he announced I haven't received. Where could he be?
Fine alongside you and everyone. And don't worry about my little sis. I kind of figured I was gonna be, but thanks to you and Claw.
have written to my father to signal my... There is not much from... But by staying, I will be able to influence the course of events directly on the field of battle. Naturally.
I need a favor.
Hey, I could use a hand.
Professor. Hey, Professor. I think you've been working too much lately. The battle is gonna keep going with or without you, but you're the one doing the most out there. It's real impressive how you can focus on giving orders and fighting. I don't think I could do both in the same battle. I see you running all over the place, even after the battle's over. I just don't want you to wear yourself out. Oh yeah? As soon as you say you're fine, that's when it hits you. No offense, Professor, but don't you think some folks might be taking advantage of you? Claude keeps asking you to do things, but you never say no. Like when you gave that speech to the troops. That didn't seem like something you wanted to do. I know you gotta follow orders on the battlefield, but you shouldn't have to do things off the battlefield if you don't wanna. What do you mean? Like studying? Sure, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but that was to keep my little sis fed. I had good reason for it. The same, huh? I think I get what you mean. You do things you don't want to do for the sake of everyone else. That's real noble of you, Professor. I guess I can't get in your way if you're doing it for the right reasons. Okay then. I'm gonna keep trying to do my best. But now, I'm gonna do it for you. My little sis is important to me. But you're real important too. I always work hard for the people who matter to me. And having more of them in my life just means I gotta work even harder. What do you think? Really? I wasn't expecting you to say that. You're gonna make me blush. We gotta keep working hard together then. At least until this war's over. I'll work to make sure you don't collapse from exhaustion. You got nothing to worry about, Professor. I've been training non-stop. I got your back, no matter what.
Professor, no matter the anything you ask.
Yes. During his search for her grip, it served to demonstrate as a result.
Okay.
Hey there, my friend. Thanks to a little prompt, it's like we were... And now, we're all going... You should go and talk to everyone.
Hello.
Pardon me.
Well...
It's been fixed up quite a bit. To think that a glorious... I'll rebuild this. Maybe I should paint a picture.
It seems that in the last 5 years... However, once... I hope the monastery...
I'll keep my voice down. Don't want people thinking,
this is no good.
Dear God, even with the church in sham, the goddess will I hope the church...
Hello there.
Looks like I've got them all. Nah, just wrapped up what I was doing. Need something, friend? Oh, you mean this? I use it to write down the names of everyone I've lost over the years. We lost a lot of lives back in the war. Some of them were only with me a little while. Some of them were family to me. Somewhere along the way, I figured I should record the names of those I've lost. The ones I failed to protect. There's nothing we can do for the dead, not in this world. Not really, anyway. And it's not like we know what happens after. So writing their names down here, that's all just for me. For the one who's still around. After all, they deserve to be remembered. Even if they're not here to see it. We all shared the same dream. They lost their lives to build that dream. And as their leader, it's on me to remember them, however I can. Oh, you think so, do you? And here I thought I was just the heartless villain in your eyes. Well, anyway, make of my notebook what you will. It doesn't matter much to me. If you go before I do, I'll make sure to add you in here as well. You heard me. I mean, you're not exactly one of my people, per se. At this point, I do have to admit that I can count on you. I kinda get the sense that if I hang around you, that dream I've been grasping for will become all the more real. So, do me a favor and don't go dying on me, okay? It'd take a lot to get rid of me. I was born under a particularly lucky star. Cat got your tongue? Looks like you want to say something but don't know how. That again? You don't give up easy, do you? Alright, I'll toss you a bone. My name's not actually my name. But it's the one I'm enrolled with here at the Academy. The one I've hung on to as the adoptee of House Rowe. Come to think of it, the last I heard someone use my real name was... a very long time ago. From my mom. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll tell you. Perhaps if you decide to pursue that dream alongside me, you'll find out.
You're here, Professor. Oh, when I think that I'll be around you again, all of my... yes, let's work together for the...
Professor? The promise was made 5... Personally, I've been with my family now that we're all together.
I've grown weary and impatient. But now, I can finally take action with a clear down with the Empire.
Let's see. I don't know anything about rebuilding. I'm gonna keep Lady Rhea's room spotless. So you gotta find her, Professor.
Hi.
I have lost my dominion, but I will never lose my... I will stop Edelgard. I have turned my blade against her now. Professor, do you think I chose the... You are right.
Let's see.
Thankfully, it appears I am most Most cute. Perhaps this is another effect of your crest. Wonderful.
My professor. At your age, I'd though I suppose I. Just.
Professor. 5 long years I've searched for you, and the Church of Seros will follow you from now on. But please do not abandon. Thank you. I know the battle.
I'm pretty headstrong. You're sweet. Thanks so much. You're a sweetheart.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Professor.
What's the use? Even with all I've learned, I still don't understand.
Hello, Constance. I hope I'm not interrupting.
Not at all. I was just in need of a sympathetic ear. I found a magical scroll, which, unless I am mistaken, should relieve me of my woes.
Oh, wonderful!
Not so fast. The magic within this scroll is a type I have neglected to study. It pains me to admit this, but it may take decades of going back to the basics to grasp it.
Decades? That's a long time to spend with your nose buried in an old piece of parchment.
Why must the goddess dangle a solution before me, only to cruelly pull it away?
There's no need to despair. To tell the truth, I like you just as you are.
You do? Why? Those low moods of mine have never done anyone the least bit of good.
You're like a little sister to me. Nothing you do will change that. Not even a little bit.
Really?
Of course, you're my sweet Constance, and I like you just as you are.
I see. Perhaps my moods are not the great burden I thought they were.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to pressure you. No matter what decision you make, I support you.
I felt no pressure, I assure you. It's more that I feel embarrassed to have been embarrassed. I'd put so much effort into finding a magical means to alleviate myself that it never occurred to me that maybe all I needed was to accept myself.
What will you do with the scroll you found?
Oh, I'll continue to research it, for research's sake if nothing else, but I may have no need of it. It's not as if these moods of mine have ever hampered my efforts to restore my house. And I am as a sister to you, no matter which face I present, yes? Nothing, no mood, no foe, no obligation, will keep me from honoring my sisterly duty to protect you.
We can protect each other.
Good, it is settled. Now we can begin the hard work of reclaiming our titles.
Absolutely. We'll become sister sages and restore our houses to their former glory.
You understand the plan perfectly. If we walk this path together, it can only end in triumph. Remember when you mentioned briefly that you'd been in conference with some nobles? Did the topic of conversation happen to be me?
I haven't the foggiest idea what you're talking about.
Don't be coy with me. I recently received an offer of support from Count Karen.
Bravo! Your dream of restoring your house is that much closer now, isn't it?
We shall see. My response is on hold until I could confirm something first. You sound as befuddled as I feel. These are events you set in motion, are they not? I want only the truth from you. Lie to me and you shall be incinerated.
That doesn't leave me much wiggle room, does it? All right, I'll tell you. So yeah, I might have been negotiating with some nobles. Maybe. Possibly.
You do recall that I have nothing I can offer you in return, yes?
Of course I know that. I just did what I needed to get what I wanted. Like always.
Explain.
All my life, I've known how to angle to get everything I've ever wanted. Money, social standing, the whole kit and caboodle. See? That's how the savage mockingbird lives. Ever since I was a kid. It's how I've done things.
What does that have to do with... Wait, are you admitting to being the savage mockingbird?
And I find myself wanting in on this house of yours. The one you've yet to rebuild.
What? No, wait. You haven't yet answered my question about the savage...
Preened as this bird might be, his only home is a dark, wet back alley. As long as I'm me, nothing can change that. So I figured, if I could leave that home of mine and live simply as Yuri, even if only for a while, you know, I might like somewhere proper to return to. Somewhere cozy. Comfy, even. Better than House Row, where last I left from.
I'm not sure what you're insinuating here.
I'll get your house back for you. And I only ask for one thing as payment. Once House Nouvelle is back in good standing, I want a home there.
You mean you wish to join House Nouvelle? But the only way to do that...
Marriage. Bingo. Quick, easy, simple.
You and I. Spouses.
You heard me. It's a fine enough trade. What's the problem?
I mentioned nothing about a problem. Where did you get that notion? I've always found you very useful, though I could do with less, much less of your backtalk.
I suppose Milady doesn't want a rogue for a husband. Can't handle all that is Yuri,
No, but there is a procedure to this sort of thing. How can you join my house when I have none?
What? You want to do things in order? How boring. I suppose we'll be lovers for now.
You mock me! You mock me and I will not have it!
Me? Mock? I'm being sincere. I'd never live out another dull day with you by my side.
That is my only fear. A life spent by your side may be more taxing than I could stand.
Seeing you so flustered provides endless entertainment.
Yeah! Come at me!
Balthus, you mustn't draw the enemy in so. Pray do not sacrifice yourself on my account.
Enough of that. Just watch my back like we planned.
1,000 pardons, then.
Whew, it's been a while since we had such a close fight. How you holding up? You didn't seem like your heart was really in it this time.
I had some difficulty, knowing the torment our enemy was going through. Bad enough to fall in combat, but to be felled by one so base as I.
Oh, if they regret anything, it's that you're worried about their humiliating defeat. Ego burn right there. You know, it wasn't so bad fighting at your side. We make a pretty good team, you and I.
It is because you have the courage to face your enemies head-on, leaving your flanks unguarded. And the generosity to allow less skilled fighters the glory of dispatching foes who take the bait. Every aspect of your tactics is a reflection of your incomparable virtue.
You have a way of understanding a situation, but also twisting it all up in your head. Impressive, really. The unrivaled king of grappling himself, that'd be me, trusted you enough to watch his back. Can't you just be proud and leave it at that?
The nickname is a difficult one to respect, though the man inhabiting it is more than worthy. If what I have said today has offended, which I would not doubt, then accept my humblest apologies.
You really are something else, you know that? I like your style, pal. I could see us teaming up as mercenaries and wandering from battlefield to battlefield. Admit it, that would be a grand old time, don't you think?
It would depend on the circumstances. Might I impose on you to come with me?
Right, there's always... Wait, what? Okay, we're here. Care to explain?
Must you make a mockery of everything? I have my own dream to pursue, not this twaddle. You assume I'd abandon the restoration of House Nouvelle to become a vagrant? Are you mad? Even among your fabled transgressions, this goes beyond the pale.
Definitely a fair weather friend, that one.
Delicious, is it not? There is little that can rival the taste of a freshly caught fish grilled to perfection over an open flame. I prefer mine with a pinch of salt.
Look at you, eating regular food like the rest of us regular folk.
It's only temporary. A fish from the river is a coin saved at the marketplace. My project will require every bit of gold I can spare.
Plus, there's a war going on. We've all got to save money however we can.
Constance, what is that shabby meal you're eating with such lowly company?
I suppose after all that's happened, she's given up on regaining her noble title. Probably for the best.
How dare you!
Would you two mind your own business? We're just trying to eat in peace.
Did you hear that? It sounds like a stray cat is screeching at us.
Oh dear, she's not using any silverware to speak of. She's just eating with her paws.
I'd expect that from a commoner, but Constance seems to be doing the same thing. How humiliating.
Oh, we're so vicious. Beating up on poor, pathetic Constance after all of her setbacks. What are you laughing at?
Pardon my outburst, but I couldn't help myself after your ridiculous conversation. How I eat my fish has nothing to do with my status. In fact, I shall vow one thing now. When House Nouvelle is restored, I shall bite into a whole fish thrice weekly.
Pardon?
Moreover, Happy is a dear friend. I won't permit you to call her a stray cat or anything so insulting. We shall continue to remain steadfast friends even after my title is restored.
And how soon do you expect that to happen?
We both know that if she carries on with such disgraceful behavior, she won't restore her house anytime soon.
Well, for the upper class, those two seemed rather classless.
What just happened?
Oh, I knew them of old. They were Callow noblewomen from the School of Sorcery.
No, I mean, you said that I'm a dear friend. Did you really mean that?
Hmm? Oh, one says all sorts of things when one feels like being cruel. But yes, I really meant that. Even when I am a noble once more, I expect you to keep me company well into my dotage.
Of course, Coco. Won't be easy getting rid of me.
This path isn't the right way either. Why do epic quests always involve a lot of legwork?
Well, Abyss is a big place. Maybe it's time to start on your next epic quest. Giving up and going home. People are dying up there after all. We don't have time for this sort of thing.
What sort of thing? You? I'd say you're way more important than the pursuit of war. More interesting, too.
Yeah, I'm the next big thing in Crestology. How flattering. You gotta stop saying things like that or someone might get the wrong idea. Lucky for you, I'm used to your weirdness by now.
I'm sorry my sincerity rubbed you the wrong way. I meant what I said, but that's fine. Now, back to your ability. I've discovered that this power can be attributed to your blood. The magic originates from your crest. There have been leaps and bounds in research on summoning magic focused on an arbitrary target. The only remaining problems are perception and distance, though it could be argued that...
Blah, blah, big words, blah. I don't even get what you're saying.
You don't have to understand it to appreciate its implications. Here's the connection. Once we understand your power, it's essential that we have a theoretical grasp on how to control it.
All right, I'll do my best.
That isn't as scientific as what I had in mind.
I'll probably need your help wrapping my head around the theoretical stuff. You up for that? No pressure. Well, people might die if you say no, so some pressure, I guess.
Huh? Why me? I guess it can't be helped. I suppose foisting this task on Professor Hanneman would be a waste of my precious efforts. This isn't what I had in mind, but I guess I'm the only man for the job, come to think of it.
Sounds great. Hey, if you're tired, there's no shame in calling it a day and heading back to the surface.
It's more walking than I expected. I've lost sleep over this. But you're way more important than a... Oh, right. You don't like me when I'm sincere. Well, let's get on with the adventure then. We'll check out that hidden passage next. We've got to find that book that Timotheus is said to have left behind. Come along.
Fine. But what if we don't find the book, and you can't figure out a way to solve this?
I've come this far. Now I've got to see it through to the end. How will I ever nap in peace otherwise?
Sounds like we might be stuck together for a while.
So Happy. Are you going back home or what?
That came out of nowhere. Haven't you noticed there's a war going on? I can't leave now.
Hadn't noticed. Nope. Now that I have, will you head home once it's over? To check on your parents?
No. Even after the war, I can't return. With my curse, I might destroy the whole village. I won't put them at risk like that.
True. I want to say you could go there and everything would be dandy. The way things tend to shake out, though, it can be pretty hard not to sigh.
What about you? You don't mind spending all this time away from wherever you call home?
Can't say I've spent much time thinking about it. Maybe after the war's over. I've got plenty to keep me occupied. If I drop things and head home, my people will lose respect for me. I can't have that.
I see. I know I should visit home at some point. It's been more than a decade since I left, though. They probably think I died.
They might. All the more reason for you to go back. I know you're scared. But if you keep your visit brief, it'll work out fine. I don't know about yours, but my mother would want to know that I'm okay.
I suppose I could stop by for a short visit. That might be nice.
Still worried? I can accompany you. I'm sure you'll find some use for me.
Huh?
You know you'll be so caught up in my lively conversations, you'll have very little time for sighing.
That plan could backfire. I might find the conversation boring, and then...
That would never happen. I wouldn't allow for it. And on the off chance a beast does appear, well, that'll clear up your boredom pretty quickly, won't it?
You've got a weird sense of humor, Yuri Bird. I like that. I guess I wouldn't feel so nervous about going home if you went with me. I might even have a good time. When you're there, you feel closer to the stars. They look so clear and bright. I'd love to show you.
I look forward to it. I bet we'll even see some of the stars you taught me about.
And maybe I'll finally lay eyes on that constellation you told me about. A fishing rod, was it? Why did you bring me here? It's so isolated.
That would be the point.
Yikes. See you around, B.
Hang on a second. Out here, in a place like this, you should be free to sigh, yeah?
What do you mean by that?
I just thought it would do you well to cut loose and sigh to your heart's content.
Really? You found a nice quiet place where you could annoy me without putting bystanders at risk?
Why does this always happen? That's not what I meant. This is me doing something nice for you. You said before that you can't ever relax because you're worried about endangering others. A lot's been going on recently, so let her rip already. Sigh until you can sigh no more.
That's nice of you. A chance to relax and sigh as I please. Sounds good. But what do we do about the monsters?
What do you think? A monster shows up, I punch it in the nose. Done deal.
By yourself?
I'm never alone, pal. These two fists are always by my side, and they never let me down.
Oh, right.
It doesn't have to be here if you have performance anxiety, but anytime you accidentally call a monster, just holler and I'll punch it to next Tuesday. In fact, maybe it's best if you just stick by my side from now on. Do that and you're free to sigh whenever the urge strikes.
Why would I have to stay by your side?
Not a lot of people in this world can knock out a beast without breaking a sweat. I'm one of them. And since I'm always on the run from bounty hunters, I'm an exceptionally light sleeper.
You expect me to sleep by your side too?
Ooh, this may be my best idea yet. If I'm always with a monster summoner, fewer people will come after my bounty. This is brilliant.
You never change, B. You're so predictable. All right, have fun.
Have fun? That's an odd thing to do. Monsters, they're everywhere. This is gonna be a blast.
It's hard not to like that dummy.
Frigid ocean waters! I can feel them already!
Calm, calm. Just listen to me for a moment. There's something I need to tell you. The reason I worked for House Varley, Bernadetta, was to kill you.
Ha! I knew it. I always knew you were out to kill me. Sink me into the deep, dark, freezing depths.
Hold on. House Varley? But why?
As you well know, theirs is one of the 6 great noble houses, the true rulers of the Empire. And you're the heir, with a crest. There were tons of people who wanted you wiped out. Like people who want to eradicate House Varley. Or a relative who wants the glory for themselves. That particular breed of treacherous nobility is the kind that'd hire a kid to do their dirty work. The first thing that kid would do, get close to the target by befriending her. Find an in through, say, an assistant gig.
This kid you're mentioning sounds real. That was you, wasn't it?
Yours truly. My biggest mistake? Getting to know you. I crept into your room one night and readied my blade. The whole thing had been a breeze, up until that moment. I couldn't bring myself to do it. While I hovered there, hesitating, your father came in. You know the rest.
Why are you telling me all this? I'm so confused.
Because I want you to look at it objectively. I was hired to kill you. Your father protected you from me. A filthy assassin. He was looking out for you. You're lucky to have a father who cares for you enough to do that.
Father protected me? He protected me.
Yeah, why would I lie? At this point, I figure it's you who hates me, and not the other way around.
I don't hate you, Yuri. But I mean, I do feel weird. But I don't know how to feel. I just
Can't we just be friends? Like back then?
You want to be friends with me?
The reason you couldn't kill me was because we were friends, right?
Well...
You were my first friend. My very first friend. The first person who played with me. The first person who went on adventures with me. The first...
And you were the first friend I had to baby that much.
What do you mean? Well, even so, you were the first friend who cared for me.
The whole thing was probably a sham anyway. Though, you know, even if it was, I did have a lot of fun with you.
I knew it! There he is. Okay, Bernie, you can do this.
Oh, Bernadetta! Sorry, just passing through. Didn't mean to scare you again.
No, it's all right. Actually, I came to talk to you. I owe you an apology. It's, long overdue.
Huh? What do you have to apologize for?
I'm hopelessly terrified of you. So every time I see you, I kinda lose my mind. But once you're gone and I get time to calm down, I realize I'm making a big deal out of nothing. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you before. I feel awful. I hope you can forgive me.
Come on now. It's alright. I wasn't really that bothered by it. Promise. I should have been more careful not to scare you. I'm a big guy, and my muscles can be intimidating.
No, you did nothing wrong. It's all my fault.
How about this? Let's say it's both our fault, and call it even. But you know, I've been thinking. You really are scared of everything. Is there something we can do to fix that?
You mean like a cure?
Something like that. I think we can figure this out. Your biggest fear is talking to people, right? If that's the case, you need to change the way you think about talking. Right now, you think it's bad, so you're afraid to do it. I figure if you talk to more people, then you'll think talking is good. It might be hard to suddenly start talking to people, though. You're gonna need to take it slow. Oh, I know. Start with me.
With you? That'll be, tough. Maybe if you turn around, face the other way?
I guess if that's what you need. How's this? I bet if you get used to talking to me, your fears will go away in no time.
You're, still really intimidating. But, okay, I'll give it a try.
All right, Yurikins, isn't it about time you let go of this grudge? I'm sorry I dragged you out onto the stage, but I can't believe you're still holding it against me.
I bear no grudge.
Then why do you get this stony look and face the other way anytime you catch a glimpse of me?
Oh, Ladybird. Truth be told, when I see you, it reminds me of my own self-loathing, of my past.
Huh. I didn't know you were carrying something like that.
You rose up from your hardships and became the lead singer for a prestigious opera, all on your own, while I made my way through the world by licking the boots of wretched nobles, watching you on stage from the sidelines. It wasn't until recently that I felt a real sense of accomplishment in my life. But recalling that first pivotal moment when I saw you on stage, you were brilliant. You shone like nothing I'd ever seen. Whenever I see you, Ladybird, I'm reminded of that moment. And in that moment, I had never felt so filthy and unlovable in all my life.
That's why you don't like singing? There's got to be more to it than that.
Back then, the Imperial capital was swarming with disgusting nobles. All of them vying for your attention, for the love of the Dorothea. Many were willing to compromise with an inferior substitute. If they couldn't have you, perhaps someone else was capable of singing just as sweetly.
You do what you must to chase your dreams. You say it left you filthy and unlovable, but my life didn't leave me unscathed either. There's not much love left in what I do. There was once, of course. As a child, I lived for singing. No matter how hard times got, I always had that. I counted myself so lucky to have met Manuela and joined the opera. But the more I sang for a living, the less certain I was that I loved it anymore.
You're a tricky one to assess. I can't tell if you're too wise or too naive for your own good. Whether or not your heart's in it now, you certainly didn't appear to hate it back then. I'd never seen you beam so brightly as you did when you helped me train for the performance.
You might be onto something. I felt genuinely happy in that moment.
You just lost your spark for singing. Nothing more. It's how I feel about it in a way. How about this? Why not join an opera that doesn't have dealings with nobles?
That's a great idea, actually. We'll start something new together, you and me.
I don't know about all that now.
The world is full of people who fell through the cracks just like us. We'll take them in whenever we can and aim to become Fodlan's premier opera company. I can't remember the last time I was this fired up. Though, we'll have to table it until after the war.
Our own one-of-a-kind traveling opera. You know, that does sound fairly thrilling. I've no doubts it could help deepen our pockets.
Leave it to you to take all the romance out of it. But I know you're an idealist deep down.
Takes one to know one. I must say, I do enjoy seeing your mischievous side at work.
I'll take that as a compliment. I could say the same for you, too. It's exactly why I'm comfortable sharing this stream with you.
Finally, you've arrived. I was beginning to get impatient. Have a seat.
What are you on about?
I'm not on about anything. Let's have dinner together, Yuri.
What is this? Did you make it?
I did. It's a simple dish. My culinary skills are fairly basic.
Hold on. What exactly is this about?
You cook for me, I cook for you. That's how this works. It may not be quite as elegant a meal as that of a Dresdian or Leicester cuisine, but the food of Fargus is delicious nonetheless.
Thank you for the meal. It was lovely, Ingrid. The flavors were nostalgic. Reminded me of when I lived with my mother and the Elder. I was actually born in a poor town in Fargus. The flavors in this dish remind me of those days. Sorry. I didn't mean to compare a meal made by nobility with the meager food I grew up eating.
No offense taken. To tell the truth, although my house is a noble one, it's also lacking in money. Our territory was struck by famine, and we ate whatever the land gave us, which wasn't much. We took what we could, just like everyone.
I see. Well, I must say that your cooking is quite to my taste. Any meal made with so much thought and care is bound to be delicious.
Why, thank you. High praise indeed, from someone who knows their way around a kitchen.
To survive in this world means to sharpen many skills, whether it's cooking or anything else, really. Although I've got to say, I do enjoy cooking. And if my meals can bring a smile to someone's face, all the better. Celebrating victories with friends, sitting around a table with loved ones, watching someone enjoy the meal I made them. Few things bring me more joy.
Have you ever considered giving up being the Lord of the Underworld and becoming a chef instead?
A chef, huh? You know, that doesn't sound half bad.
If you ever do, I'd come to your restaurant and eat whatever you'd whipped up every day.
I'd like that very much. I'd work extra hard so I could see that lovely smile of yours.
You are just too much. I can hardly maintain my composure around you.
Did I say something wrong?
Not at all, Yuri. Not at all.
Hey, take this.
Hmm? That smell. That sound. This is gold. A sizable stash of precious gold. What gives? Don't tell me you got your mitts on the church's vault.
You fool. It's simply a reward. Nothing to get in a tizzy over.
No way I can accept this, pal. Trust me, I haven't done anything to deserve it.
Just shut up and take it. Call it your fee for providing me with information. What you told me. The tale from your mother's homeland? It really helped me. Anyway, if you don't actually need it, I'm sure you'll find a use for it. Maybe take your mom out for a night on the town.
Looks like you're insisting then. Fine, I'll use it to buy her some good grub. But I thought you didn't actually find any answers in my little tale.
Not quite, but it helped me in other ways. I've stopped vexing myself over unimportant details, like who I am or who I think I might be.
That's all fine and good, but is it really worth its weight in gold? This is coin we're talking about.
Look, do you want it or not? Is there something else you prefer? Wow, that was one hell of a sigh.
Look, you're better than me at thinking and betting, but right in this moment, you're the fool. You. Do I like gold? Yes. Do I want it? Need it? Yes and yes. While we're at it, I like brawling. Women too. But there's something that I care about even more than gold, fighting, and women. Any ideas?
Oh, this is tough. Let me guess. Hopelessly losing every bet you place? A good drink?
You really think highly of me, don't you? Dead wrong. It's having a bash bro. A friend to fight with and fight for.
Seems I was a bit off base there.
I guess to you, everyone is either an underling or a business associate. But with a bash bro, there's no such thing as an overdue loan. No hierarchies or other nonsense. It's someone to trust, both in and out of battle. Someone to share life's ups and downs with.
I see. No need to reward a bash bro, I suppose.
That's the ticket. I know you were born into a world of trickery and exploitation, but you don't have to live like that anymore. Now you've got me.
I'm not accustomed to talks like this, I must admit. How can I frame this? Nobody even knows my real name. Are you actually comfortable confessing such a warmth towards someone so cold?
Clearly. No matter who you are or what you've done, I care about you. That won't ever change.
Now that is fresh.
I told you my feelings and you laughed. You're one of a kind, pal.
I'm sorry. I've got to admit, I thought I'd heard it all. But you've managed to surprise me. It's the first time anyone has ever said something so sincere without trying to get something out of me.
I could try to say it again with more swagger if that helps.
Nah, no need. Bash Bros has a nice ring to it. From here forward, we are forever Bash Bros, friend.
I've got your back, pal.
Balti? Still training at this hour? How unexpectedly diligent of you.
Ah, Hilda! How are things? Anything of note to report?
No? I'm not sure what you mean.
Oh, I don't know. You haven't been approached by any lovelorn goons lately, have you?
Now that you mention it, it's been a few days since any guys have flirted with me.
Fantastic! They got the hint.
Whoa, wait a second. Are you pulling some weird prank on me?
Of course not. I'm just doing my best to keep my promise to Holst, that's all.
Oh, not this again. That was ages ago. I'm sure my brother's forgotten all about it.
Dead wrong, pal. I actually had the chance to see him recently, and he had a new request for me.
What? He told you to get rid of any guys who show interest in me so that I stay his innocent little sister forever?
That sounds more like Sedith than Holst, don't you think?
Fair point. What was the request?
Guys here have the gall to consider you a potential bride. It's my job to test them, see if they're worthy.
I don't like where this is going.
Since Holst isn't here to do the honors, I've spread the word that nobody is fit to marry you unless they can defeat the great king of grappling in a fight.
What? That's exactly the same as getting rid of them!
How so? It only eliminates the guys who are dumb enough to take up the challenge.
No one is that dumb. No one around here thinks they can beat the stupendous king of grappling or whatever.
That's why I leveled the playing field by allowing sneak attacks. Plenty have already tried their luck. One guy actually tried to strangle me in my sleep.
Wow, a sleep strangler. He sounds like husband material.
And that's why I've been training so much. Can't let you end up with some weakling after all.
This is madness! If you keep getting stronger, there won't be anyone who fits the bill.
True. You could spend your whole life searching and never find a match for Balthus the Great. The only people who stand a chance are Holst and me.
To prove that you're worthy of my hand in marriage, you're going to fight yourself?
I always knew I was my own worst enemy. One day I'll finally meet my equal in battle. Me.
So you're going to punch yourself out? Is that your idea of a romantic gesture?
When that fateful day arrives, Hilda, I want you to know that I intend to keep my word.
Huh. A girl could do worse, I suppose.
Little Lysithia. These ears miss nothing, you know.
What are you on about this time?
Is it true that Count Ordelia plans to relinquish his title eventually?
Yes, but why are you asking?
I approve, that's all. Throwing off the shackles of nobility to live freely, it's a beautiful thing.
I would ask that you refrain from painting them with the same brushstrokes that you so liberally paint yourself with. My mother and father will carry on with all the associated duties befitting of nobles. Only after that will they retire.
Got it. And that's completely different from someone like me who tapped out of the nobility game, right? Your parents are exemplary nobles, that's for sure. I respect that you support them as much as you do.
Would you just stop? You're embarrassing me.
Can't be helped. Meant every word. If anyone should have red cheeks, it's me, given the choices I've made.
I'm sure you had your reasons.
Of course. Still, it is a bit cowardly of me not to stand up to my family a bit more. Honestly, it's since getting to know you that I've started thinking along those lines. One day soon I'll return to that house. My reception will be chilly at best. Still, it must be done. My house is full of lowlifes. But it also has my little bro who took over when I left. He's good people. Even with the difficulties in Leicester, our house is still going strong. That's his doing. That's why I've decided that it's time to talk to him about what can be done to help Count Ordelia.
Repaying your perceived debt would be nice, sure. But it sounds like you intend to foist your responsibility onto your little brother.
Ah, but the two aren't related. This is just the right thing to do. I'm still pondering how best to fulfill my vow.
Uh-huh.
Well, you don't believe me, do you, little lady?
Just what exactly are you planning on in terms of this repayment?
After your family relinquishes their noble titles, I'll support them so that you can all live in peace.
Even though you're a lowlife?
That may be true, and it is, but consider this. I've seen life from both sides, as a noble and a vagabond. When their situation changes, they'll face new challenges. I'm the perfect guy to help him through.
You're irresponsible and unreliable. But clearly, you're not a bad person. And your support would be most appreciated. Just so you're aware, however, we have no means with which to pay you. So, are you sure you're still willing to follow through with this?
I wasn't planning on doing this for a payout, but if you really insisted on a thank you gift, well, you could always accept me into your family. Then paying me wouldn't be a consideration.
Excuse me? Just what are you insinuating?
Don't think too hard about it just yet. I still have lots of debts to pay and affairs to settle. In the meantime, let's just stick close together. Yeah?
Balthus, you and I are of like minds, so I'd like to get your opinion on something.
Oh, is this about the age thing? As a rule, so long as she's younger than my own mother, it's fair game, pal.
Noted, but that's not what I wanted to talk about. Ever, really. Do you remember what I said about the first thing we need to accomplish in this war?
That bit about busting open the lid that keeps the people of Fodlan from the rest of the world?
That's right. I'd like to know your thoughts on the matter.
Okay. Well, everyone seemed to eat it up, so I'm fine with it too. Certainly not against it. In a world like that, my mom wouldn't have to fear what others think of her. But it all hinges on if you can shape reality into the vision you have in mind. That's no small task.
I had a feeling you'd say something like that. Please, go on.
I'm all for mixing up different ways of life and bloodlines. But who knows what it'll really mean for Fodlan? We'll be free from things that previously bound us. Walls will crumble. Things will change. Drastically. At the same time, the world we've defended for years could easily become unrecognizable. Everything we've built up until now could fall to ash. Hard to say how it'll all shake out. All we can do is wait and see. Maybe all will end well. Or maybe not.
All I want is for everyone to accept each other. That's the ideal I'm striving for. It's deceptively simple when you think about it.
Look, if getting exactly what you wanted was easy, I'd be drowning in gold. Don't get caught up in the stakes. You just have to throw the dice and see where they fall.
Good advice. That's all we can ever do, really. I just have to do my best and prepare for the worst.
You got it. I can't help with funding, obviously, but you have my support.
Speaking of funds, you're not planning to sell the secrets of my origins for a quick payoff, right? There are people with deep pockets who'd love to see me fall. They'd pay well for information like that.
Don't worry, Claude, I wouldn't sell out a friend. Not even for a small fortune. Most likely.
Yeah, that's not worrisome at all.
I was just kidding. After all, I have that promise to look forward to. You won't let me down, right?
Oh, of course not. And that promise was what exactly?
About hooking me up with your mom. After we bust open that lid, of course.
Of course. Age difference aside, you know she's married, right?
I'm not a loon, Claude. I'm not trying to marry her. I just want some closure with my childhood crush.
Is that a fact? Well, it'll be interesting to see whether my father can kill you before my mother beats him to it.
Nice work. Here you go. Drink up.
Oh, thank you. This water tastes absolutely divine.
Your shouts are really coming from the gut now. I bet you're getting stronger too.
I'm not so sure I'm stronger, but somehow, when I shout, I'm able to move more books than normal. Although my brother becomes very anxious anytime he hears me shouting. I do suppose my body feels a bit sturdier now, though. I'm so very grateful to you, Raphael.
Oh no, thank you. I'm just happy to have someone to shout with.
But
Doesn't all this shouting keep you from your precious workout regimen?
Nah, don't worry about that. I think I'm in better shape now than I was before. My muscles work overtime when they hear you shouting so close to me.
Isn't that wonderful? Come along, Raphael's muscles. We can do this. It is my wish that someday I'll be able to lift a log all on my own with these arms of mine.
I'm sure they will. I used to think you were a lost cause, but look at you now. If you really want to get there, you gotta start training your muscles when we shout, all right? You've already got big brains, but if we can get you big muscles too, you're gonna be invincible.
Invincible! I like the sound of that. Hey, Raphael. I finally finished that necklace for you. Here you go.
Huh? Oh! Whoa! This is incredible! And so shiny. You're like an artist, Hilda. How'd you do this?
Just like I told you, I put the flowers and the shiny rocks in a bottle, and then poured in some resin to preserve everything. I thought the flowers you had were looking a little pathetic, so I added a few of my own. It was hard work, making sure the flowers and the stones were spread evenly, getting rid of the air bubbles.
What's this? The part you hang around your neck? I thought you used the one I gave you.
Oh yeah, no, that's a cord I braided. I was going to use metal, but some people are allergic to metal, so I figured better safe than sorry. Anyway, you didn't give me much to work with, and look what I pulled off. I am a miracle worker.
It's gorgeous! Beautiful! I've never seen anything like it. Thank you, Hilda.
Wow, hold up! What's with the blubbering?
It's just... I bet my sister never got anything so pretty in her whole life. She's had to deal with so much because of me. I never got her anything this nice and cute before. She's gonna love it and be so happy.
Okay. Yes, okay, that's enough. Come on, you're embarrassing me here. If you're really that happy, I'm glad I put some effort into something for once.
Don't you always put effort into things?
That's sweet of you, but no, I don't want to put in effort and then disappoint people. It's dispiriting, not to mention tiring.
But what if they're not disappointed? Then they'd feel great, and you'd feel great too.
Yeah, you have a point there. I guess I'm realizing that now. You know, thanks to you, I'm starting to see things from my brother's perspective.
What do you mean? Do you have a big bro too?
I do. I've always thought of him as an overprotective nuisance, but now I feel thankful. Looking at you, I couldn't help but think, sometimes big brothers are okay.
I didn't do anything special though. It's natural for a big bro to look after his little sis. Oh, that reminds me. I still haven't found anything special enough to repay you for the necklace. I got an idea though. How about I help you make a tough-looking necklace for your big bro?
No need. I have a better idea. When the wars simmer down, why don't you and your sister come visit me?
Really? That's it?
Yeah, I want to make sure it suits her. And then I can adjust the cord if I need to.
Of course we'll come visit. I told my sis all about you, and she already wants to meet you.
Well, good. I look forward to it. In the meantime, hold me close to your heart.
What?
That's what the necklace would say if it could talk. Hold me close to your heart.
is that darn ladder.
Need help with something, Lysithia?
I can't find the ladder anywhere, and I needed to check out the books up on that top shelf.
Want me to just grab one for you?
No, I need to be able to dig around myself.
No problem. You could sit on my shoulders instead. Up you go.
Hang on a sec! That's not... I hope nobody saw that. Anyway, thank you. That was helpful. I can't believe how many fantastic books were hidden just out of reach up there. Thanks for being so patient while I rummaged.
No problem at all. It was my pleasure.
Hey, Raphael. You're always extra nice to me. Is it because I remind you of your sister Maya?
Yeah, I can't help but think about her whenever I see you around. We lost our parents when she was still real little, so she never had adults around to do stuff for her. That's probably why she grew up to be the kind of kid who wants to do everything on her own.
That's certainly something I can relate to.
I keep telling her that it's okay to rely on her big bro a little bit. Like, when there's stuff she can't do because she's too small, she just needs to ask someone bigger to do it. I told her that she could help me when I'm having trouble with stuff too. Then we would be even.
Young or old, we can all help one another out. We each have our strengths and weaknesses. Receiving help and providing help in return. It sounds so simple, really.
It is simple! I knew you'd get it.
I do. And I hope you understand that you can come to me for help too, Raphael. I can't be the only one receiving aid. It makes me feel incompetent and like a kid. I hate that.
Alright then. You could help me clean up my room.
I bet it's a disaster knowing you. I'll help you on that front, but I've got some rules on how to keep things tidy. You'll need to listen up.
If you could help with the actual tidying, that would probably be better. No need to bother with rules. I don't really do so good with remembering the complicated stuff. Oh! I got an idea. It would be even better if you could just come by and tidy up from now on. If you keep helping me, then I can help you whenever you need it. No guilt.
Whenever I need it, huh? How long does that offer hold?
From now on. Like for always. I don't know what's so difficult to understand.
For always sounds nice. I'm fine with that. Is that... Raphael?
Yeah, I get it. But you can't be so picky. You need some meat in your diet. I don't know if you can eat human food, but bug meat might be good for you. That's right. You need to eat plenty of bug meat if you want to get big and strong like me. No more sweets for you.
What? He's talking to a bird?
Huh? Is someone there? Oh, Marianne! You're right on time. This little birdie was telling me that he misses you. And, Aw, it flew off.
It appears so.
Why do you think birds fly away when there's more than one person around? Birds never seem to stay put unless I'm alone.
Birds are very cautious creatures. They tend to fly away when they're startled.
You mean they're afraid of loud noises? Oops, that was probably too loud for the birds. Come on, Raphael. Keep it down. How's this? Do you think we'd be able to talk to birds together like this? I still haven't met a bird that can speak human. I was hoping you could introduce me.
Huh? I thought you were just talking to one.
I was mostly talking at him, not to him. He just said chirp chirp and stuff like that. I had no idea what he was talking about. I don't think he understood me either. Marianne, you always know which birds understand what you're saying, right? Next time you find a bird who understands you, I hope you let me know so I can join the conversation.
Now what am I supposed to do?